in Ecuador after spending the holidays in snowy Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was a cold one, but it was great seeing family and friends and experiencing a traditional Christmas, which we haven't had in like 8 years, right?
Yes, it was so much fun.
So it was really great. We got to see Santa. We got to experience some snow.
Merry Christmas!
Happy birthday, Nene! Remote control car, okay. And how about you?
Some beautiful memories for sure, except for that 1 week when we had influenza.
Ugh, that was brutal. We all got very sick. Gabe didn't, so we were fortunate there, but your parents hit them pretty hard.
Yeah, my poor parents, it felt really bad.
I don't think we saw them for like 4 days.
No.
So. Alright, we're all recovered. Hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday. Wishing you all the best in this coming new year. We actually had a night out for New Year's, so that was pretty awesome.
We had a great time. Got away, left the kids at home.
Did some partying. Had some dance moves going after a few cocktails.
Okay, so we are happy to be back and alone. The beautiful sunshine we are enjoying, and we are ready to create more content for you.
Yes, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get access to all of our latest content. Alright, so we're in what is deemed high season here in Olón, here on the coast. So we should have like 5 or 6 months of really nice weather, sunny days, good day to get out to the beach. The town is definitely coming to life. We're seeing a lot more tourists. Things are opening up, so it's really cool to kind of walk around now.
Yeah, it's so magical walking around here, seeing our friends, going to the beach.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Yes, we are very happy. And let's see, in this video we're going to get you caught up on some key happenings in our life, travel requirements to and from Ecuador. We're going to let you know the COVID situation that we're currently experiencing here in Olón, and then give you some updates on what we're doing now, what we've been up to. So let's let it roll.
Vamos! If you've been following our content, you are aware I was diagnosed with a brain lesion back in March. And if you are new to our channel, you can get more details at the link above. Aside from going home to visit family for the holidays, I also had another critical round of scans to determine what might have caused my brain lesion. More specifically, if I would receive an MS diagnosis and thus need to begin additional treatment.
Claire's all done. Now we just await the results. 48 hours, they said.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Prayers. Everything will be good.
Well, I'm happy to report, drum roll please, all of my scans came back clear. Yeah, it was really great news. We're overjoyed with it, so thank you all for your prayers and your thoughts. I think that's really helped aid in the recovery of it.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Yeah, the doctors were in many ways baffled because your lesions almost went away.
Yeah, it's really not common, like to get a lesion and then for it to go away completely. There's usually some type of scarring that's left behind, but
he said keep doing what you're doing.
yeah, so happy that,
So I think it was a lot with your diet, kind of went
Yeah, I went on an anti-inflammatory diet, got my stress levels low.
Positive mindset, all that good thinking. So very grateful for that news. I know a lot of you guys are probably too. You've been asking a lot about Claire's condition, so that's a great update to give you guys. Outside of Claire, me and the boys are doing well. We're healthy. A couple sunburns.
Yes.
And temper tantrums, so that's
All
about
by
it.
Kevin.
The next update we have for you guys is that we moved into a new house. Well, actually a 2-bedroom condo.
Yeah.
See it behind us here.
A sneak peek. Yeah, so it was quite the adventure moving out of our home that we were at previously and into this place and packing up, unpacking,
Putting in the
moving.
storage.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it
Glad
was
that's over.
very tiring. Definitely had some help from some friends, but we are now in our house, getting comfortable, and we are ready to roll again. So we'll give you a full tour of this place in a future video. We'll have to try to live up to that house tour we did at by Anita that had me in some precarious situations. Alright, you can check out the full video at the link above. Definitely pretty funny to watch.
That was definitely a tour to remember. So we are loving the place that we're at. Ideally, we would love to be renting a house. However, it's slim picking, so.
Yeah, Alone is in super demand. There isn't a lot of rental options, especially with high season right now. A lot more people here in Alone. But we're pretty comfortable with what we have. But we'll definitely be looking for a long-term house lease in the interim here.
Yeah, we're here until the end of June, so hopefully we'll lock something in before that.
Fingers crossed. Next, we'll talk about travel to and from Ecuador. We'll go over the regulations and kind of our experience traveling in and out of Ecuador.
So traveling to the US from Ecuador is pretty straightforward. This time in particular was a little bit interesting because Gabe fractured his elbow the day that we were leaving.
That was very challenging. Well, at the time we didn't know it was fractured. We knew it was pretty injured because he had fallen awkwardly. That's kind of the challenge with Alone. There aren't any hospitals nearby. Like Manta and Guayaquil are the closest, and those are 3 hours away. So to get an x-ray.
Yeah, we would have to go an hour to La Libertad, and we were busy like packing, and so we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So we contacted some medical friends, and we decided, you know what, we're gonna wrap his arm at this point, and we'll have an x-ray in the US. And sure enough, when we got home, it had an x-ray, and it was a fracture to his elbow. So 3 weeks in the cast, and then he was fine.
So let's dive into the requirements for traveling to the US. So first, travelers aged 2 and older, regardless of vaccination status, are required to show documentation of a negative viral test taken within 1 day of the flight's departure. Rapid antigen tests are acceptable. If you recently recovered from COVID-19, you may instead travel with documentation of recovery from COVID-19. And US citizens are not required to show proof of vaccination. However, it is a requirement for non-US citizens entering the United States.
If you're in the Alone area, you can get tested at Fatalab in Manglar Alto or Rueda Laboratory in La Libertad. Results come quickly, usually within a few hours. Oh, our kids love these tests.
Yeah, lots of tears and some screaming.
Yeah.
So first we're gonna get our COVID test for our flight at midnight, and we get it here at Fatalab in Manglar Alto. $35 per test, and then we all have to get it. Even Gabito.
Okay, now sleeping and let's wake up.
Oh, he's sleeping. All right, well that was not fun, huh guys?
Oh my goodness.
How was that test though? Did it hurt?
It's the worst having
Let's
to see them
leave.
go through that. Yeah, okay,
Let's get out of here, guys.
Now let's discuss travel from the US to Ecuador. First, upon entry into Ecuador, all travelers must provide proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test taken no more than 72 hours prior to boarding the flight to Ecuador. Rapid antigen tests are not acceptable.
And finding a testing center and getting your PCR results back in time has become very challenging in the US given the spike in COVID cases. So be sure to schedule your appointment early. We usually go through the drive-thru at Walgreens or CVS.
We've heard of people even having to pay upwards of $200 to go through a private clinic to get their test results in time. The second requirement is a COVID-19 vaccination card showing the traveler has received a complete series of the COVID-19 vaccine at least 14 days prior to entering Ecuador. And lastly, a declaration of traveler health, which is filled out on the plane prior to arrival in Ecuador.
And then travelers between the ages of 2 and 15 do not require a vaccination card, but must present a negative COVID PCR test taken no more than 72 hours prior to boarding the flight to Ecuador. And And then travelers whose point of origin, stopover, or transit is from any of the countries listed below or coming up on the screen here are prohibited from entering Ecuador at this time.
And we'll provide links in the description to the government website to clarify further. Overall, our travel experience was great. We flew out of Guayaquil on Spirit Airlines. Check-in and security was quick, and the kids were well behaved considering Gabe's fractured elbow. So
Yeah, he did really well on the flight. And then we flew back to Ecuador on American Airlines. Check-in was easy again. We had all of our paperwork, so we didn't have any issues. We stayed the night in Guayaquil, and then the next morning we got a ride to Olón.
easy peasy. We typically fly to the U.S. on Spirit Airlines because the fare is cheaper and we have less baggage. So
Yeah, the base fare is cheaper. Spirit upcharges for all those bags, like bag fees, so we take less on the way home, and then on the way back to Ecuador, we usually fly American because they allow you free checked bags and free carry-ons, so it ends up being a pretty good price.
And so overall, it was a great travel experience. Let us know in the comments below if you have any Spirit horror stories.
Dun, dun, dun. So what is the COVID reality here in Olón? Enforcement and regulations can definitely vary by which province you're living in. So we'll speak to our situation here in Olón, since this is where we live. So overall, life here is fairly normal. Beaches, restaurants, and stores are all open without restrictions. Wearing a mask is optional, most people are vaccinated, and our kids have in-person schooling and activities.
Some places like large grocery stores and shopping malls will ask for proof of vaccination. It's more enforced in the larger cities. We haven't been asked for our vaccination cards anywhere in Olón or the surrounding areas.
And recently there has been an uptick in COVID cases, but we haven't heard of any severe cases requiring hospitalization.
So overall, life is good. Beautiful weather, laid back vibe, and restrictions are at a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, this could obviously change at any time, but this is the current situation that we're living in here in Olón.
All right, so what are we up to? We are getting back into our routine. Leo is back in school, and we are hopeful to get Gabe into school in the next couple of months. We first need to lock down his potty training.
Yes, that's been tough. If you have any recommendations or any insight into potty training, please drop us a comment down below. We are all ears. Little guy is doing all right, but he doesn't want to sit on that toilet yet.
Yeah.
So. All right, so other than that, we've been creating content for you guys. We've been getting actively involved in the community through volunteering and other fun activities.
Yes, and I definitely want to start back up our salsa lessons.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here for those lessons again. That was a lot of fun. So ultimately, we want to keep connecting with people through our YouTube channel, being active in the community, and exploring different parts of Ecuador. And in the meantime, also have fun, spend time with our friends, and laugh as much as possible.
Yes, this past year has really challenged us and shooken us to our core at times, but I think ultimately it has given us a greater appreciation for the time that we do have.
Yes, so we'll continue on this kind of unknown journey and be grateful for whatever comes our way.
All right, sending you a big hug from Ecuador.
Lots of love. Till we meet again, amigos.
Ciao.